In America's Best Dance Crew, it started as occasional, but for the sixth and seventh seasons, it became like a staple. There were weekly episodes when crews were assigned to hit songs by the same artiste with given challenges. I already laid out in that other video how I wanted it to work out in the way I want the show to run. But in this video, I go further into this and discuss whether or not it works overall and how much it works if it does. There isn't every time when it works for me, and I can't be the only one on the page. Common sense tells you that there are many artists renowned and lovable, whether they're just singers or simultaneously singers and dancers. People enjoy hearing them. Now, I'm going to say something you won't like but should learn to respect. First of all, if this is Randy Jackson's show, even though other people host, judge, or whatever, shouldn't he be the most primary person who decides if there can be more seasons and when he's done with the show? But even if that isn't so, there doesn't have to be and cannot be an episode to dedicate every existing superstar. And even with all the artists featured in the show's run, there are still many who I bet a lot of people would want to see dance crews dance the music to. If I need to give examples, Bruno Mars, Backstreet Boys, Owl City, Alicia Keys, Justin Timberlake, Shakira, John Legend, Gloria Estefan, U2, Coldplay, and Kelly Clarkson. So even if it became a priority, there are still those who don't get a mention. Especially when producers can't get their permission. So depending on the number of episodes, there wouldn't be enough to accommodate all favorite performers, would there? The second thing is which song to assign which dance crew. I think the artist ought to have a sufficient amount of hit songs so that there'd be enough variety to give one song to one crew to handle with the challenge. There's a likely problem though. There would be times when a person thinks a song given to a crew isn't the right match. And this applies to the artiste who performed the song. There must have been instances when people didn't like when one song in particular was given to a crew and thought or felt that it should have gone to some other crew. Maybe that's why the superstars themselves presented the songs and challenges in later seasons instead of a backstage correspondent. Seriously, I feel sorry for Layla. Or I simply miss her for being on the show. Anyway, another likely problem is that someone thought or felt that there's a greatly loved song they wanted to see a group dance to, and that song never showed up. When assigning a song by a star of the week, expect both matters at most. Bottom line, there must have been times when someone didn't like which songs are applied. Now, something to realize is even if all the future seasons would involve dance crews competing to music of a superstar every week, it doesn't mean that the show needs the Season of the Superstar subtitle. Besides, it's not like the groups competing in a season have to perform to a song from a weekly artiste every week. And there are some things that happen on the show that should be considered traditional and should never be changed. And here's the most complicated. There would have been times when the week to feature songs of a famous superstar cannot feel like it's the right week for it. There could have been a week when someone had 20 more favorite songs and should have been when there were more dance crews. There could have been a week when someone thought or felt that the superstar of the week had only some songs and should have been when there were less dance crews. Well, the latter is less likely, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Twice there was a Rihanna Challenge Week, one time in the sixth season and the other in the seventh season. Talking about the latter, was it because of what happened the week prior, or were there more songs that were wanted to be utilized? Either way, I feel mixed about featuring the same artiste the second time. And considering the many songs she performed that were heard in the show in those 2 weeks, don't you think it could have happened when there were a lot more groups in a week? There was a week when groups danced to songs performed by primarily Pitbull. And I'll simply say that it actually worked for me for the theme of that week. I guess the same can be said for the week of Rihanna in the sixth season. And so it makes me think that when the show challenged the dance crews to perform to songs of one artiste in a week, it should somehow be connected to a certain theme. In America's Best Dance Crew, dance crews performed to music by renowned people. But even so, it didn't have to mean assigning crews to a song with an additional challenge by the same artist every week, especially if it doesn't contribute to a fair contest. I'd rather I'd rather not say they got too comfortable with it, but I would find it racking if they did. All of the above points considered, having dance crews perform to music of a superstar in a week is good, but in a science, it has potential, but it only works when it works. And I'm certain it wouldn't have worked every time it was there. So, circumstances given, this is an idea that works best when connected to the theme of a weekly challenge. That's the only way I picture it working. If it happens only a few times per the formula of the seasonal tournament that the show should have, no complaints from me, as long as it works that many times. Now, you tell me, do you think there could be weeks of dance crews dancing to music by one artiste? And whose music do you want to see the groups dance to? Comment your answers, and thanks for watching.